بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. My real life before and after I knew Allah Al Kabeer, the most great. Before. We had a week off before our final exams, and I really wanted to do my best. I made a study schedule and even divided up how I would study. I made a time slot to read the material, to highlight what is important, to make and copy the highlighted part and revise it. I was really happy with myself because it was so organized and I was following it according to plan. And as each day passed, I was getting better and better at it. I even told my friends to do the same thing because it was so helpful. At the end of the week, I had a beautiful set of revision notes for each class. It made it so much easier to revise before each exam. The next day was our exam and I felt very confident because I really prepared well for it. When I got the exam paper, I suddenly got very nervous. I was reading the questions and just blanked out. I could see the image of my notes in all the sections, but all the words were blurry. I couldn't recall anything. Time was passing and I was just writing general answers. I even made my handwriting bigger so that I could fill up the empty space in the answer section. When I reached the last question, I didn't even bother to go over what I wrote. I felt it would just make me feel worse. I then handed over my paper and I felt so heavy. After I knew Allah Al Kabeer. Allah Al Kabeer is the greatest and no one can overpower him or affect him. Allah Al Kabeer is greater than any achievement, any sin, any fault, and any desire. When we do not magnify Allah, then anything small in our life will be made into a big deal. I made the preparation for the exam such a big deal as if I was doing something amazing to have a study schedule and follow it. I made it bigger than anything else, forgetting that Allah is greater. I took all the means to prepare for the exam, but I forgot Allah. I told my mom what happened, and she said that we have to take a middle path in everything. We take the means, but we only depend on Allah to make the means effective. It's not a middle path when we just take the means and forget Allah. And it's not a middle path either when we only say, I depend on Allah and do not take the means. She said it's not too late and I could still make dua to Allah. She said I should seek forgiveness first for not remembering Him and then ask Him to give me a good grade. She said I should never doubt Him and never think it's not possible. I asked Allah to forgive me for not making Him the greatest, and I asked Him to give me a good grade. I told Him I don't want to depend on myself, but I want to depend on Him because He is Al Kabeer. He is the greatest. A week passed, and the teacher told us she's going to give us back our exams. She placed a pile of papers on the desk and said, I wanted to tell you all something. Your grades were very disappointing. I'm going to give you exactly 30 minutes, open book and open notes to answer the same questions. She handed back the papers and I thanked Allah for giving me another chance. I asked Him to make it easy for me to answer all the questions. Alhamdulillah, I was able to find the answers to all the questions. I handed over the exam paper to the teacher and felt so much better. Not because I did better, but because I returned to Allah, remembered Him, and could see His signs. It was the first time I actually enjoyed taking an exam. My heart is proclaiming His greatness, but only Allah Al Kabeer can see that.